And as you said, looking at this group on the match, we've got some big lads there, Greg.
We've got some big old units here. We have Malcolm. We really have. It's going to be very, very interesting. What their mobility's like, one thing's for sure, if they're static and they're fighting the younger fighters, they will be hit. So therefore, they must get their range right.
And I thought Jordan Thomas, very grounded, had his head screwed on. Hey, I've just got to think about my opponent in the semi-final. I can't even think of the final yet. He seems to be on fire at the moment, mentally and physically.
Yeah, he is. As I said, the benefits of that training camp is clear with Jordan. He just seems to have that composure. Not only the composure, he seems to have that fighting fitness and focus. So it's great to see. Great to see him come through. We've now got some really interesting fights here with Christoph. Sonny, former England international as well, competed about 10 years ago, come back onto the mat. Good to see him. And he's going to be the guys are going to be fighting some younger fighters here. So great stuff.
Well, that was the thing. A lot of heads were turned at the mention of Christoph Pienaar. Now, obviously, your history with karate far, far deeper and greater than mine. But the term legend is not used lightly when we talk of Christoph Pienaar, is it?
Christoph Pienaar was a poster boy for karate alongside Wayne Otto for years. He was the French glitterati on his own. So it's going to be interesting how Christoph fares here.
Well, he's facing Mark McMahon in the first round, Greg.
Christoph was known for his incredible kicking ability. He had a taekwondo background, and his legs were right hands. So he's going to take a bit of a while to get going, but I should imagine it won't be too long before we see he put his legs around around his head there.
It's a great story as well. There's not one of us here, as we all only get older, not younger, that wants to see a legend turn back the clock and do well. Whether he wins it or not is a different matter, but you want to think there's hope for everyone. If Christoph Pienaar comes back and does well, there's hope for you, there's hope for me. I mean, I think in that respect, a lot of people are there willing him on.
Wonderful sort of observation there, Malcolm, but there's no hope for me, I can assure you that. Yeah? I will not be coming back unless it's drinking pina coladas around the swimming pool in the Caribbean.
I'll take you on that. We'll go in the group together, mate. Group final, you and me, pina colada.
Yeah, but you know, all respect to Christoph, because the Olympic dream has stimulated him to actually come back into competition karate. He's been teaching for the last 10 years, so 10 to 12 years, and he's just thought, you know what, let's see what I've got. Good luck to him.
And it's been great for the 10K, the talk about it, the look. When we did the draw and we did a little live feed for it, the faces on the youngsters when we said, oh, and in Group 2 is Christoph Pienaar, the jaws just dropped.
Definitely, because they know that Pienaar is a karate legend. So great to see him here. And I'm pleased to see him. I remember him when I was fighting. He was around the same era, and he was always hard work.
Now, for Mark McMahon, he can't afford to show him any respect, though, can he? He's here to do a job.
Well, look, if Mark holds off him, he's going to get kicked in the face. It's as simple as that, if not in the body. So Mark has got to close down Christoph. If he stands and bounces with him, he's going to lose. This is it. He's not meeting him. He's got to meet him. You have got to, with a fight like Christoph, especially if you're not a mobile fighter, you've got one chance, and that is to move forward when he blinks. And then you're going to have a chance. If you go back, you are moving on to his technique. So it's going to be very, very, very good demonstration karate from Christoph.
His legs are still supple, they're still fast. He's defying age at the moment in this opening round.
They are still supple, they're still fast, they lack finish. So they just need that little bit of finish to them, and his techniques, little bit of finish there, which can only come through competition. It's not going to come any other way. He can train as much as he likes, but he needs to get that competition sharpness, which is missing. Just that finish, again, that he needs.
And it's easy for me to say, sat here, Greg, in the comfort of the best seat in the house, commentating with you. But I do honestly feel that maybe Mark's just paying him a bit too much respect at the moment.
Without a doubt. He's probably had the videos on. I mean, I can't say he has, but watch YouTube. If you watch him, you're going to be worried. So, best thing, as a great man said, head down and forward. That's what he's got to do, Malcolm. Just go, as Christoph moves, just go in, keep it simple, body shot, front hand, and timing. That's what he's got to do. But there is unquestionably a kick on its way.
But at the moment, he's still in this. That's the thing.
He is. Christoph, on the other hand, should keep it simple. Just look to notch up some points. Just look to I would actually forget the kicks and just take some points to the face and to the body, and then his kicks may well actually become more sharper.
And again, it's a good tactic, Greg, because Mark will be waiting for those kicks as well. He's set them up already. He's seen what he's trying to do. Then if you suddenly switch, that's where you can score the point.
Definitely. So Christoph has literally won that on his work rate, but he won't get away with that next round. He needs to start notching up some points, and this is what I'm saying. His athleticism is still very good, but the finish is paramount. He needs to get the finish to his techniques to start actually having half a chance of beating any of these young guns here.
Well, Musa, you talk about the younger guns. Musa Edwards in the red, Conor O'Sullivan in the blue. The young guns you're just talking about, Greg.
And here they are in all their glory on this platform. Great opportunity for these guys to actually show what they've got straight away. For me, looking from a coaching perspective, I think they're going to be fast, but they're going to be in trouble as they go through the rounds if they're up against anyone who is 70 kilos and more, simply because they are much smaller fighters. They need to be making sure that they are working good technique, working like that, working their athleticism, working their lines, not meeting anybody straight up. So they need to just get the rust out off themselves in this round, and then the next round, as they're going through with the heavier fighters, they need to be on their bike and nick the points.
They are probably the two smallest fighters in the group.
So far, they are unquestionably the two smallest that we've seen so far. And again, it's an open competition. And the adage is, Malcolm, a good big one will always beat a good little one. It doesn't always work that way, but the principle is sound. So these guys have to understand how to beat a good big one, and it's not meeting them foot straight on. It's got to be angle fighting and using your assets, which is movement, speed.
On the plus side, they've got that confidence, the fearlessness almost of youth as well, though, haven't they?
Absolutely. The less you know, the better. I've always said, just put your head down, get on with the fighting, and then worry about it when it happens. So great to see these youngsters there. Just unload, get on with it. They've got absolutely nothing to lose. What they've got is an opportunity to actually track their careers with some of the best fighters in the world, saying, I fought in this.
At this stage, though, Conor's playing catch-up now, Greg. What can he do?
He is. What he needs to do, Conor, is look for his point, as opposed to fight for his point. He's got to look for it. He's got to look for what he wants to do, not just hope an opportunity arises. He's got to look for it. He's got to be very deliberate, and he's got to think about the stuff he's been working on in training and make the opening. Sometimes the younger fighters, they fight on instinct. They don't actually fight on strategy. And then it all goes wrong when they get older, because the fighters that they fight then have more strategy, more experience, and it overrides the youngsters' fighting instinct. So they need to understand that they need to know when to fight and when to get a point.
And I think, as you said, later on in this group, they might find that out the hard way, being honest.
They may well do. They may well do, because they are lighter fighters, and if they are going for points and they haven't scored and they're standing in front of the bigger guys, they will throw them around like a ragdoll. And that can just be as much fatiguing as opposed to point scoring. Sometimes the bigger fighters just do it to tire out and unsettle a fighter. So they need to know, and there are some big boys in this group.
Oh, yeah. But at the moment, they've only got each other to focus on, same size roughly. But again, Conor, time is running out for him.
He needs to put his foot on the pedal, because Musa now is up on his fights. He's up on points, and he doesn't necessarily feel that he needs to go and get any more. Conor is still sort of fighting as if it's 0-0. He needs to, again, fighting and reffing. What's he doing that for? He's not. He needs to stay on his opponent. Again.
That's another thing we haven't discussed, Greg, but I saw it with Jordan Thomas. timing in about as well, knowing how much is left on the clock, when and where. Jordan seemed superb at that, knowing when to pick up those points.
Very much
as you
so.
said, when to pick up the pace because you knew you had to go for it, which seems to have passed Connor by at the moment.
Definitely. But the job of the coach is to give you those indicators and where you are in the fight, what you need to do. Your job as a fighter is to keep your eye on the opponent and to fight. And I think sometimes the fighters can get caught up in thinking about too many different things and lose points. So, yeah, you're right with Jordan, but he's very much seasoned. However, his dad will do the work. Yeah, his dad should be doing his work in regards to timing and where he is, and that's where his ear should be.
Well,
Good
as
fight.
we said, the two smallest guys probably in the group, but for Musa Edwards, the consolation is that was a straightforward victory for him.
It was, yeah, and it's good clean fight. This is going to be interesting. I haven't seen Sonny fight in years, and when I did see him fight, he looked like my man here to the left. So, it's going to be interesting. Sonny again, though, good karateka, good stable coming from Aidan Trimble's initial club. But we've got a very sharp fighter here in Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan Rush, his opponent.
Very sharp, very, very sharp fighter. So, looking forward to see how this pans out. Again, Dylan, that's where you don't want to be, Dylan. As I said, do not be in front of the fighter.
Greg, what were you saying last round with the bigger fighters? If they get the opportunity, they're going to maul you.
They are.
And Sonny looks like the type that could maul you.
Without a doubt. As I said, Sonny knows his assets. He's been fighting for a long time. He's not going to be looking to beat him with speed. He's going to try and beat him with timing and with takedowns. Again, good timing there. As I said, he was a seasoned international. He knows what he's doing.
And as you said for Dylan, don't be in front of him unless you're scoring your point, unless you're going for it. Then get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Don't stay there.
If he stays there, then he'll be staring at the lights up the top there. As simple as that, Malcolm. He doesn't want to stay there, and Sonny will literally do it as often as he can, irrespective of whether he scores or not. Good timing there from Dylan. Good strong punch, and that's what Dylan's got to do. He's got to go first, get out, keep it simple, and I personally would have said to him as a coach, keep your legs on the floor until you get some points. Because if you're kicking and you haven't scored, you will end up on the floor.
Almost just like that, Greg. As you said that, he threw the right leg, it was almost caught, and he was almost taken down.
Very much so.
Where basically what you're saying is at the moment, bread and butter points.
Definitely.
Bread and butter points.
Definitely. Notch up the points, maximise your assets, score those points, and then you can start going for the 2 and 3 pointers. But initially, you've got to look at your opponent and say, I know I'm faster, let me go and get the point. Just utilise your skill. That's it. Good. Again, that's exactly the way to fight. Very smart.
And something you said earlier, coming off that line immediately.
Yes,
which he did beautifully there.
Of course he did, because what he's getting now is an understanding that actually if he goes first, right distance, he will score. Again, he's trying to kick there. He needs to keep it the same. If he scored with the same technique, keep it going until that person has an answer to it. At the moment, he's got no answer. So he just needs to keep it simple. Then reverse punches are working well. They're just nicking those points, and Sonny's going to have to come, and he just needs to pick him off as he moves. Again, that's what he needs to do. Again, here we go. So once Sonny gets his hands on him, he'll just put him on the floor anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to be there with Sonny.
You really don't. You really don't.
But it's the same with Christoph Pinner. It takes a lot to come back. We mentioned about the young athletes, the young guns coming through. There's one thing to be said about experience. There's another thing to be said about coming back against these young lads that have got so much testosterone, so much athletic ability, so much speed.
Malcolm, that's such a good observation again. I mean, the reality is that the fighters today are athletes as well as fighters. Whereas back in the 90s and 2000s, there was great athletes, but the karate was also very, very, very strong. These guys now are able to pull out techniques that gymnasts would struggle to do. And this is what the difference is. Their athleticism is incredible. And if you're not training like that, and if you haven't had that upbringing in how to score the points, you're going to struggle.
Well, Dylan Rush, he got through there, Greg. He did well in the end, as you said. Made a couple of mistakes, but he got those points when he needed to, and he does go forward.
I don't doubt for 1 minute that his coach weren't telling him to keep it simple and just to notch up them points. I should imagine that's what you're saying, and that's what he did well. So well done to Dylan, and good to see Sonny back on the mat.
Now we have Joby Wilson and Albert Forsyth.
Again, stark difference there, Malcolm, in the way. Albert is an England international at heavyweight, and when you say heavy, Albert has not got a shred of fat on him. He is lean, mean, fighting machine. However, what we've got in Joby is a good athlete, and Albert is going to have to keep his distance and only get anywhere near Joby when he's ready to score, because Joby's going to pick him off if Albert is not up to it. He's going to pick him off. As you can see, good movement already. Albert is very, very static fighter. He's looking to throw you around, and this is what he does well. But Joby has to maximise his skills. That's it. That's what he's got to be looking to do. Again, that's where he doesn't want to be too often, in front of Albert.
In terms of stamina, though, and focus, it's a hard way to have to battle through the rounds, Greg, because he's always got to be focused. He's always got to be on his toes, getting the points, just like we saw in the last one between Sonny and Dylan. It's a long time to stay focused and getting the job done.
Malcolm, again, fitness doesn't win competitions, especially at this level. Composure does. Their composure is important, because that level of intensity for all these rounds has to be maintained all the way through. And so if it isn't, that's where it can sometimes fighters can fall short. They're good for the first couple of rounds and they cannot maintain that level of intensity. And that's what you can see Jordan does well. He's able to maintain a level of intensity for his category and for his ability. He's able to do it.
So Joby Wilson walking down Albert Forsyth, and he's remained very mobile, Joby. He's remained very patient, and he's remained very elusive, Greg.
Very much so, and that's what he needs to do. He doesn't want to be standing in front of Albert. Albert, as you can see, is a strong fighter, but Joby needs to break those angles and attack break those lines and attack from an angle. That's what he's got to do, and most importantly, he's got to go first. He doesn't want to be countering Albert.
Well, he went there first that time. Albert countered him and knocked the gum shield across
Exactly.
the mat.
Exactly, yeah.
But neither scored, so it's still supremely balanced here.
Definitely. But as I said, there must be 20, 30 kilos in this fight. That's the beauty of karate there, is that you can have it is about skill first. Skill first, the ability to beat an opponent who is heavier than you through your skill set, understanding that the attributes you have and making them work for you.
And that's what you said, the attributes and the rule system. If this was straight boxing, you'd have your money on Albert all night, wouldn't you?
If it was straight boxing, they would be arrested. Yeah, because it would be a complete and total mismatch. Okay? It would be a total mismatch, Malcolm. But what you have here, because we're talking about points and skill sets and athleticism and timing and technique, this is what distinguishes karate from other combat sports.
Joby has his nose in front now. That patience and that perseverance has paid off at this moment.
It is. And so he's just got to be smart now. And being smart isn't trying to sweep Albert. Yeah? He's got to be smart. He's just got to meet the timing. Get that timing right. Good, and that's it. Albert's got to come. But he doesn't need to give him too much pressure. That's good. Again, don't look at the referee, look at Albert.
And this is where it gets hard for someone like Albert, where, as you said, he's got to chase. He's less mobile, he's more static, but he's behind on points. He's got to chase the back.
He's got to move. He's got to go. But what Joby's got to do is just literally keep him on his toes. Stay on his toes, move out the way. He doesn't need to go for Albert. The clock's on his side, and make Albert work. But he's got to have a timed response ready all the time. So he needs to keep focused.
What it does mean, if it stays this way, we have seen it through the group, the smaller, younger men coming to the fore if it stays like this in this last back.
Very much so, Malcolm, because they're fighting smarter. It's simple as that. They're fighting smarter. The bigger fighters are not actually working out how to beat these smaller guys. And it's great to see that these smaller guys have worked out that they have to move around more. They can't be static, whereas the other guys are not trying to cut them down, force them to fight at their pace.
What you're saying is Sonny would have been far more comfortable and vice versa if it was Albert in his first group. If those two against each other, they'd have loved that.
They could have just stood in front of each other and got on with it. Very much so, Malcolm. Excellent. Great point. Again, that's how they're going to win, because the smaller guys, they have to win with speed. Again, again, good point there. Okay, that one not scored, but again,
oh, that seemed strong. I mean, as you said, the technique previously, the kick from Joby was absolutely beautiful, and the timing was right, because again, we talk about timing. He knew Albert had to chase the bag.
Yeah, but what Albert's doing right now is that he's trying to use his weight against him to actually wear him down and slow him down. But this guy is resilient, and he's strong, and he's focused, and he's sharp. So Albert might have to change tactics, because he's not gonna unsettle this guy at all. Great fight by Joby. Albert is now on the defensive, whereas actually he should be picking the fight up and looking to score points. Good fight by Joby. Really, really pleased with that. One of the smartest fights I've seen this evening. Really, really good spirit.
And it is the smaller guys now, Greg.
Oh, they are leading the charge. It's good to see. I mean, this is fundamentally, the 10K is fundamentally, Malcolm, a open weight competition. Open weight historically has been one of the hardest competitions to win, whether domestically or internationally, because invariably the average man is over 11 stone. Yeah, so when you get the athletes in there, they're sharp, they're strong, they invariably over 75 kilos, and if you're in there as a lighter fighter, it's not going to be easy. It really isn't. So we've got Musa here, haven't we?
No, we've got the ladies back next, I think they're saying.
Have we?
Our ladies semi-final, which, as you said, should be Carla Burkitt and Ashley Harris.
Didn't see Ashley earlier. Hope she's okay.
Oh, they're going straight semi-final. So this is Carla Burkitt, Kate Kawaczynski for the semi-final, yes?
No, that's not Kate. Not too sure who this is. Who's this here? Ashley. It is Ashley Harris.
So Carla Burkitt, Ashley Harris.
We're just going to get rid of the earring there. Lovely earring, but no good in the ear at this stage of the fight.
To face Kate Kawaczynski in the semi-final.
Carla again, seasoned international, European medalist as a junior. She's just come down from the training camp in Team GB for the last three months. Tremendous ability, and also Jordan's training partner when training with Willie Thomas in Luton there. So
and you said how important the first point is. She went straight out there.
Very much
shot
so.
Straight in, Greg.
Again, showing the benefits of that camp and how it's worked. How it's worked her understanding of the game. Good, again, great timing.
And that literally was all about timing. Ashley was forging forward, but she waited,
bang, in.
Pulled the trigger at the right time.
Definitely, Malcolm. Great fight. And again, she's firing there. She's firing there, yeah. She pulled that reverse punch to the head. Good timing, bounced back and then straight back in. Ashley needs to just settle down now and try to claw those points back. Again, very, 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 very committed attack, but the rolling punches weren't on time, weren't on target. She's not going to get too far with that.
So Carla Burkitt really started on fire. Her timing, her movement, and as we said, it's so key to know when to pull the trigger. So far, she's got that right.
Definitely, and she's confident. She's got the centre of the mat. She's good movement there. Look at that, good head movement, great timing, staying on it, not looking to the referee until the referee calls Yame. Great point. Really, really good movement from Carla. Good to see.
And it's sustained pressure, isn't it?
It is. It is. She just hit her then, Ashley, when Ashley didn't expect to get hit because she just carried on fighting.
Now they're saying the contact was just a bit too excessive for the point there.
Well,
Greg.
they're the refs. I'll bow to their greater knowledge. Again, Carla, stay face up. Don't go breaking off. Ashley needs to just settle and look for her points now. Yeah, that's it, good. Head kick was good. Okay, maybe not.
But we're still in the same scenario where one of the karateka is forcing the other to chase the game.
Definitely. Stay up, stay face up, Carla. She's still looking at the referees too much. Look at her hands really low. Maybe she's been seeing too much of them taekwondo guys up there in Manchester. Yeah, because she's training with them in the same environment as them. She needs to get her hands up. Look for the points, and be able to respond to whatever Ashley does. Again, if your hands are low like that and you're looking to punch, then you've got a long way to go to score. Just get them up. It's not complicated. Good point. Again, she breaks off beautifully, Malcolm. What she does is as they attack, she changes stance, breaks the line, and then attacks at an angle. Really good. And again, great kick. She's really on fire.
The reason for this, Greg, and I don't want to sound nasty about it, but because she's managed to force an air of desperation in Ashley with the way Ashley came forward with those fast punches, but all out of range amount of time.
Very true, Malcolm. What she's done is shown her the difference in competing at this level under pressure. Great experience for Ashley, but Ashley's had a rude awakening about top-level international competition and how you're not given a chance. If you don't take a chance, you won't get one.
Now, Christophe Pina went through last time as the aggressor, but you said he's got to get back to basics that serve people so well.
Definitely. He needs to have more finish on all his techniques, hands and legs. More finish. Okay, he needs to have more finish. He needs to have his target bang on. His timing's not too bad, but the target needs to be better and the finish of the technique.
And again, now he's not with Conor O'Sullivan. You can see the problem Musa Edwards fights in terms of height and size and everything else here, Greg.
Definitely. Christophe is at least 80 kilos, and Musa must be no more than 65. So Christophe is an experienced fighter. He'll know how to work that. Let's just hope that the finish of the technique is there.
Yeah, we've given him the benefit of getting that first rust out of his first back, getting the timing back, getting everything else back. And like you said, he is looking to work the hands more in this second back.
He has to. He needs to just get some confidence, get in some points, and then from there, build on it, and then his legs will come. He needs to just use his hands, get the points, and then work his legs.
Oh, Musa with a kick, Greg.
Beautiful kick. Beautiful kick. Now that should fuel his confidence now. That should fuel Musa's confidence. Christophe needs to now just look to get those points back, Malcolm. Needs to get them points back, and he should be looking to get those one by one. Just focus on getting those points. Yeah, that's what he needs to do. Look to get them points, Christophe. He needs to really, really focus on being just call it a clinical point. Because if he doesn't do that, he hasn't scored a point yet. It's his second fight. He needs to get that point, Malcolm.
I mean, as we said, a genuine, legitimate karate legend. But when you looked at this 32 athletes here, it was a big ask.
It was a big ask, and I think, that's the beauty of sport. The beauty of sport is Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. It's things that you don't expect to happen, and they come about, and you think, right, it might not pan out how you expect, but I'm going to pay my money and go and watch because it could just go all right. Yeah, again, his timing is there, beautiful there, timing there with Christoph, but just missed the target. Beautiful spinning, turning hook kick.
Yeah,
again,
going out in style, isn't he, Greg?
He is. Trademark technique of Christoph's. Sometimes it can be a bridge too far, but you need to find out. And I think that's what Christoph wants. He wants to find out if he's got it in the tank. You know, this is no doubt this tournament's not going to determine that for him. He needs to do a little bit more prep work to find out himself. But mat time's important. He's getting the fights, and so at some stage he'll make a decision about where he is and where he wants to go. Whoa.
Yes, both men spinning at the same
Very
time.
much so,
there.
yeah, that was almost out of a film.
That's why you heard the crowd, the oohs and the ahs. But for me, Moose Redwood's very clever strategy this back.
Very much so. He's not intimidated by Christoph. He's scored his points, scored a great three-pointer. He out-kicked the kicker, and now he's just waiting out the clock. He knows that he's got this fight in the bag. He doesn't want to do anything stupid.
That kick was like throwing water on fire, wasn't it? Saying, I know what you're famous for, but boom, look at that.
Exactly. He's making a statement. He's saying, you know, my instructor always used to say to me, the best points to score on a kicker is a kick. Yeah, and it's so valid, that point. You know, the kickers are not used to being kicked unless you're taekwondo. So, you know, great fight by Musa. Great to see Pinner back. Good luck in his journey to the Olympics. Hoping that he gets there. But if he don't, at least he'll know. At least he'll know. All respect to him. Great fight from Musa. Well done. Now,
Greg, it's been incredible already, but we're now turning it up a notch. You can continue on pay-per-view on Facebook, and you really don't want to miss this. It's really beginning to bubble now. So from now right through to the ladies' final and the men's final, you can follow us on pay-per-view on Facebook, and it really is worth following, isn't it, Greg? It's been superb so far.
Oh, the last hour has been tremendous. The quality of the fighters has been exceptional. There's been few surprises, but what there has been is incredible technique and timing. For those of you guys who've just joined us, good evening, and you're going to have a good night. Some tremendous fights coming.
So we have Dylan Rush in the red, Joby Wilson in the blue.
Two young guns there, Malcolm, fought their way through the first round pretty clinically, and now we can see that they both have got tremendous athleticism and speed. Just make sure to get their target right.
And both took out bigger men in that previous round.
Oh, without a doubt, and they weren't just bigger, they were twice their weight, Malcolm. They were big, and they just beat them with their speed and their timing. Tremendous to see.
And both men in that last round did it with patience, and you mentioned that timing and choosing the shots at the right time.
Definitely.
So they're like mirror images of each other in this back. They've both got that ability.
They have, and they clearly know how to win a fight against different sized opponents. That can come from maybe just fighting a lot of open tournaments, or fighting a lot in the team where you fight anyone, any weight. That does arm you to be even have more techniques when you're fighting in your own weight category.
And again, as we've seen in this group, a lot of the time very evenly balanced, very tense, very tight, as if they know the weight of expectation and the pressure here, that what a mistake can bring.
Definitely, they do know that. But what they also must switch on to, Malcolm, is that they need to score the first point. If they don't score that first point, then it's going to be that they're chasing the fight. And if they're chasing their fight, they must have strategy. Good punch there. Good punch. Great timing. Great timing there by Joby. Good body punch. Real old school timing there. Good to see. So now, Dylan is under pressure to really go after him and get them points. Again, oh, good point. That's it. Great comeback. Great comeback. Great head kick there. Great three-pointer, Malcolm.
Dylan looked to his coach and roared.
Without a doubt, and justifiably. That's what as a coach, that's what you want your fighter to do, to respond to the pressure and to get those points back. It's now 3-1 to Dylan, and he's got now taken the initiative. He's grabbed the initiative back off Joby, and this is going to be a real tear-up.
Yes, I said that they're very similar in body size, very similar in technique, and the way they approach a contest as well. Definitely.
They just have good experience. For young guys, they've got good experience and a good temperament. Good temperament with their fighting. They're very settled. Dylan needs to stay on it. He's scored by attacking. He needs to do that again. He needs to look. Don't wait. He needs to look. Again, he's ducking when he should be punching. If you've got the timing for ducking, you've got the timing for some sort of reaction like that. It's better off doing that. You've got more chance. Okay, so he went for a big three-pointer there with the spinning hook kick. Didn't come off, but it shows he's confident. There, Malcolm.
But Joby, as we said, he'll be looking at the clock. He's got to come back, hasn't he?
He has. Oh, good fight. I really enjoyed that. Really good fight there. Joby came out, took that first point, and Dylan responded with a great three-pointer. Good to see. That's good karate competition there.
And sets it up for Musa Edwards and Dylan Rush. And when we looked, we said about the mountain for the smaller guys to climb, but they've done it now. And they're there, one bout away from a semi-final against Jordan Thomas.
Definitely, they are leading the charge. They are getting rid of the bigger guys. The bigger guys should really be dominating these open weight competitions. But these smaller guys are just working them out. They're great athletes, and they're using their speed so effectively and so efficiently. I'm very, very impressed. Got a great crowd here tonight.
Of what people used to say, well, I always used to take the term more mainstream fight arts, more mainstream this. What is more mainstream this at the moment? A huge sellout crowd, all in their glad rags, all in their best, VIP tables, top class filming, entertainment. It is mainstream. It's as simple as that.
Very much so. It's dragging karate, British karate events into the 21st century. And what it's done is given a platform for our fighters to an appreciative audience right across all the associations and clubs. Great to see, and I'm proud to be part of it, Malcolm.
Well, we say the crowning of a new king. Can Joe Kellaway be one that does the double? He's young enough. He was on fire the last time out.
Joe won last year without the benefit of the Team GB training camp, full-time training. What can you say this year? He's now had that under his belt. He's looking so fit and so focused. You couldn't bet against him.
Well, scarily, last time out, he came out like a racehorse at Ascot and just got stronger and more confident. He just grew and grew to the point where about the semi-final stage, even though you try to remain unbiased when you commentate, you look and go, who's going to stop this young man?
Exactly. And there were some great fighters there. Alton was also on fire. And everybody, I think a lot of people thought, right, Joe, the brakes are on for you now in the final. You're going to be up against it. But he just was unrelenting. Caught Alton, who is one of the fastest fighters out there, caught him off guard continually through that fight. Joe was exceptional. And if he's anywhere near that, which I anticipate that he will be, I expect him to be today, then he's going to be a very, very hard man to beat. And don't forget, Malcolm, Joe's under 75 kilos as well.
Yes.
User-friendly for this competition.
Yes, the good little ones are bucking the trend here tonight.
He's bang in the middle there. He has got all the assets of a light fighter and a heavy fighter with an under 75 kilo. So good luck to him.
Yes, he won't be here till Group 4. We've got Group 3 to come up next. but we're just waiting for Dylan Rush to have his rest period here, Greg, before he takes on Musa Edwards.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Both good kickers. Both good kickers there.
Well, we saw both of them, didn't we, at key points. The kick, I mean, Dylan was behind to Joby Wilson, 3-point kick.
Yep.
Musa went to Christoph Pina, have that.
That's right. Yeah, very, again, just got in Christoph's head. Weren't waiting for him like Christoph's previous opponent did. No, he thought, well, I've got legs as well, and you're going to bump into him.
Final group bout. The winner of this faces Jordan Thomas in the semi-final. And you can almost smell that green, Greg, when you're this
You
close.
can indeed. You can indeed. Whoever it is, I'm going to be their friend at the end of the night.
Yeah, Joe didn't lend me a fiver last time.
Yeah, that sounds like Joe.
Yeah.
God bless him. Again, good idea from Musa, looking to take that first point as quickly as possible. Get that first point, get in their head, get control of the fight. That's what he's looking to do there, Musa.
And he's been very confident. He's the smallest man alongside Conor O'Sullivan in that group.
Yeah.
By a country mile. And he's just, in a way, he's almost like breezed through the competition.
He knows his assets. He knows his assets are speed and dexterity. That's what his assets are. Yeah, so he's using them very well. Using them very well. But Dylan, again, we saw him come back. He is a canny fighter. He knows what he's doing. And Musa's going to have to really deal with what I consider to be one of the smarter fighters in the tournament.
And you mentioned the learning curve for these athletes and the way they're going. I think for Musa, if he gets through to at least the semi-final stage, it says so much about his future in this sport as well, Greg.
Oh, definitely. He's young, he's talented, and he's light. So, you know, he's got it all in his side. He's got it all in his hand, really. He's got it all there.
But we've seen Dylan Rush is very canny as well. He's prepared to wait. He's prepared to move and wait for the right time. And as we saw when he got that superb head kick, listening to his coach at the same time.
Without a doubt, and that is the key. That is the key. At this level, your coach will be the difference between winning and losing. You know, ability will get you so far. Your coaches are there to help you work the strategy. Again, Musa had time in there for a reverse punch, chose to go back and try and kick. It's much more difficult. The dividends are better, but sometimes you just got to keep it simple. If you're thinking 1 point, then mentally you're in a different place. And then you can consolidate it with the bigger points. So sometimes you just got to nick those points and build up your confidence.
Well, I like what Jordan Thomas said in his interview when he's only worried about whoever wins this. Because, and it's true, he said 32 men, only one takes home the 10K, that's the end of it. Whether you go out in that first bout in the opening round, which when he beat Steve Kawachinski, or you go out in the final, he said it doesn't matter.
Nothing.
One man takes the chance.
That's exactly it. It's merciless. It is what it is. You literally have to win. Seconds no good.
And Musa got back to basics with the hands there.
Definitely. Very good. Now he's got the initiative. Now Dylan's got to get the points back. But we've seen him do it before. Dylan, we've seen him get them points back. You know, he's a composed fighter. He knows where he's in the fight. He knows the clock's ticking down. And Musa knows that he literally has to keep Dylan at arm's length.
And again, Dylan looked to his coach, talking to him and saying, you've got to come in now and keep going. And this is what we've seen important, is when they focus just on each other and not the referees. That's your chance to score points.
That's it, yeah, because then every opportunity that's available, you could say that you've taken it. Good movement there by Musa, good movement. Dylan maybe needs to just change stance and try and pull, because Musa's timing's really good, so he might need to pull him out and then go over the top. He's a little bit longer, so he might need to try and do that. Well, he's changed stance, which is good. That's good, but just good point.
And again, both men continue to work well.
Definitely, just a little bit messy, but good fight by Musa. Really impressed with that. He's beaten a good fighter there in Dylan. He's really done well, Musa. He's a bit of a dark horse there.
Ladies and gentlemen, your second semi-finalist, Musa Edwards. And Musa, with no disrespect, the lightest man in that group. When you looked at that group beforehand, did you think you might be in trouble? There were some big men in that group. Now, your timing throughout the group, as I said, you were the lightest probably in the whole group, but your timing and your patience, Greg Francis mentioned, you knew when to take the shots and you took them, and you just seemed to grow in confidence as that group went on. Well, you are 2 backs away, potentially £10,000. Jordan Thomas stands in your way. Tell me about that. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, our second semi-final.